Hello, snowboarders of the internet. This is Top 5s, the only weekly Top 5 show in snowboarding. This week's Top 5, the Top 5 best bang for the buck women's bindings. So this is bindings that originally retail for $199 or less that are the best bang for all you female riders out there. And I know some bonehead boyfriend out there is going to be like, I found this binding on sale and it should be on the list. Well, we're not talking about shit that's on sale now, are we? We're talking original MSRP, you bonehead. So fuck off. This is for your lady, not for you. Number 5, the K2 Bedford. This price-conscious binding features a 3-degree canting, which for some people might be too much. But when it comes to women, they have this thing called chick hip, where they kind of like throw their hips out a little bit more when they steer and stuff. So this helps actually bring their knees and their anatomy a little more aligned, so that way they're not going to get as much knee fatigue. The other cool thing with this binding, and some people are going to be like, this is bullshit, is it has the wide mouth buckles to it, so you can pretty much just hit the strap in any direction. It's going to feed that ratchet right in there. Now you're probably saying, this is a bullshit feature, Avran. No, that thing's a lifesaver, especially if you've been out praying a little too hard the night before, you made some questionable decisions, you hooked up with that snow carny Casanova in the hot tub, and now you're hungover, but you still got a shred. This is a lifesaver. Trust me. Plus, there's a bunch of other options on there. You can adjust the toe strap so that it really fits the different contours and shapes of your boot. So if you got a snub-nosed boot or a pointy-toed boot, you got that going on. Number 4, the Ride Vixen, or VXN, depending on how you want to pronounce it. It's been a staple in the Ride lineup for like decades now, it seems. This binding is a quintessential all-mountain freestyle binding, so you can pretty much do anything with it. And it does have an aluminum construction to it, which is going to make it more rigid. So if you really like charging, you really like pushing it to the limit, with it being an aluminum binding, it's more rigid, it's more durable, it's a little stronger. It's a binding that you can really push it with if you want to, which for being $199.95 puts it at the higher end of the price tags for this list, but it also makes it more of a binding you can charge with. Number 3, the Nitro Cosmic. So Nitro bindings are like one of the most underrated bindings out there, in my opinion. There's a lot of tech really just slammed into them, and they kind of get overlooked because of other binding brands out on the market. But with this binding, you get the asymmetrical high back that's women specific, so that way you got a right and a left high back, and it's going to be a little bit lower just to accommodate your naturally lower calf muscles and how your boots have a lower cuff, ladies. So you got that going on. Also, the ratchets are super smooth on these. So I know that's like not really a big thing for most people, but trust me. And as we progress our binding tech and we have incremental growth year over year, buckles are huge, especially if they're a lot easier to get in and out of. You do have an EVA footbed, and then the high point of this binding is you have the adjustable heel cup, so that way you can really center your boot into that binding as well. Number 2. This is a tie between the Union Juliet and the Fix January. Why is it a tie? Because I can make it a tie. But here's the reason why. With the Union Juliet, you got a 2-piece construction, so you got a little more adjustability. But let's say you want a unibody, that's where the Fix January comes in. By and large, I kind of put these bindings exactly on the same level in terms of flex, fit, and just how they're going to ride. The big difference is going to be in the buckles between each other, and the fact that the Union has that forged aluminum heel cup on it. But if you want adjustability, you can go more towards the aluminum. If you want a unibody binding that's just going to be rock solid, then you go towards the Fix. Honorable mentions, the Burton Stiletto, because it sells on its name alone. Even though it's an okay binding, it's still not the best thing out. The Arbor Sequoia. I would have put this into the top 5, but unfortunately, the factory that makes the Arbor bindings tightens the screws down so much that people end up stripping them. And let's be honest, ladies, after you try to adjust it, your boyfriend, friend, significant other, or the guy at the shop is going to try to adjust it, and then they're going to strip out those screws, and that's going to suck. And the final honorable mention is the Bent Metal Meta. It's not a bad binding at all. You got drive plates on there, and that means you get more customization because you can swap it out with the other women's binding from Bent Metal. It just didn't make it on the list because I felt there were other ones that were better. And the number 1 best bang for the buck binding for women is the now Vita. Why? Because I said so. No, actually, it's got now skate technology, which isn't always for everyone, but I really dig it. I know a lot of people do, and it makes sense. So for all you ladies out there watching this and are wondering what skate tech is, basically, when you drive down onto your toes, the heel lifts up in the binding and helps put all that power transmission down your toe. And then when you go back to the heel, it lifts the toe up and helps drive all the power into the heel edge. Basically, these bindings are giving you more power transmission. The only downside with this binding is that certain boot shapes do not fit that toe strap. So what you need to do is actually flip it to the other side so it's upside down on each one, and then it will grip a little bit better. Also, you have the bushings underneath that you can swap out, so you can do soft, medium, and hard, which will help change the flex underneath the binding as well as the dampening, so, stability and absorption. This has been my top 5 list for the best bang for the buck women's bindings. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Did I miss one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about these bindings. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you'd really like to support us and you just want to see us grow out what we're doing over here, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP. I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.